Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's show, the Beautifully Bruised and CPS show. I am your host, Latrika Jones. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and just blessed to see a new day. We're in from the weekend into Monday, and hopefully we can bring some Monday motivation to you. I can tell you today already, it has been distractions for me, distractions, and I'm not. Listen, it's just like, okay, God, what happened this morning? I looked up, I woke up hours early, and then I woke up almost, it was time for taping. I'm like, my God. So, but I, again, want to continue to move forward and go forward with the show because you just never know who's watching. You never know what a person may be going through. And I do know for myself that the right words at the right time can make the right difference needed in our lives, right? Because life's be lifing. And I also want to share with you. I had a close dear friend that sent me a video this weekend that she thought was that I needed to look at. And and a lot of times people will send me videos just to bring to my attention. And they hear about Attorney Vince and his platform and how he helped families become reunified back with their children again. And by me being one of the hosts on his platforms, people that watch the shows, sometimes they will say, "Hey, this is a video I seen. I heard her story or his story, and I thought this is something that you might want to be aware of or bring to your attention because I thought about you when I saw it." So, like I said, I'm glad my dear friend sent that video because when I saw it, honestly, it was heartbreaking because me being at one point in time years ago a victim of CPS, it brought back those feelings, those emotions of what it feels like, when you're going through CPS and you're dealing with the things that they're doing to you and how it makes you feel as a parent. And you just you're trying to process everything and you're not really sure or clear on what route to take. And again, that's why I strongly recommend getting an attorney, calling the number on the bottom of the screen, reaching out to Attorney Vince, because this is something, if you don't have wise legal advice, legal attorney like Attorney Vince, you want to do so as quickly as possible. I really mean it when I say time is of an essence. You want to do your work. Don't take nothing for granted. Don't think that you can handle this thing by yourself because most likely you can't. You do want to, consult Attorney Vince. Please call the number at the bottom of the screen. That's what it's there for. Whatever your case is, if you're dealing with CPS, please call that number on the bottom of the screen because they can actually make a difference of your life with your children. Okay. Also, before I go any further into the show today, I just would like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him, I wouldn't have survived my CPS case years ago and be on here to share my experience of what it was like, what I went through, what I learned from it. And again, the whole purpose, I believe, of the platforms that we do is to hopefully bring encouragement to you, right? To hopefully give you some type of inspiration or encouragement to let you know that God has the final answer. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it feels like. Like I shared in my previous story, my story really didn't turn around to almost near the end of my segment. I kid you not, it was nearly the end is when I kind of began to get some relief. You're doing all you can to just hang on in there. You're doing their services. You're doing everything they ask you to do. You're taking and passing all your drug tests. You're doing the psychological evaluations. You're allowing strangers to come into your home and you really don't know their true spirits, their true motives sometimes. Like I always say, all CPS caseworkers do not have integrity. I mean, let's just be honest. Everybody in life that we know, right, don't have integrity. So guess what? Some of those people are CPS caseworkers. Some of those people they work for the government. They work for Child Protective Services. Let's just be honest. And sadly, a lot of times, a lot of those who lack integrity, they just use their weight, their power around, it seem to be connected to money, power, and politics, So prayerfully, you have a caseworker that has integrity and that's doing the right thing. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, I pray you have wise legal counsel like Attorney Vince, or if not, Attorney Vince is not available, or you can't get Attorney Vince, try to find an attorney that knows CPS laws, that is aggressive and that's willing to do the work and to fight for you and your children to be reunified back together again, right? That's the whole purpose, and that is the main goal. So, again, that is so very important. I really try to share and bring on information to you that I wish I would have had when I started my case years ago. Initially, I just thought, to be something that I can handle myself. I can explain myself what happened or what's going through or what they think is happening. Or because a lot of times, I realize the CPS, it don't have to be actual facts. It's things like they can go off on an assumption, or someone, it could be an ex husband, an ex-wife, even a strange family member, just or somebody who just, or even a person that knows you might not like you, and they use CPS as a weapon against you just because they're angry, to cause strife, to have a malice heart, to come from an evil, wicked place. And and I do understand CPS has to do the investigation, right? Because at the time they don't know that these people is doing this out of strife. They thinking this could literally be something where a child is in harm. So I understand why they have to complete the process of the investigation. I truly do. And I also like to put out this disclaimer again: CPS, I do believe it's needed for families that are really not making the best decisions. The child or children is not in the right place, or if the children is in harm, of course, you need to take the children out of harm's way. That's understandable. I'm speaking about the CPS workers who lack integrity and they're not operating out of the right heart posture. They're really just messing with the parents. It's obvious these parents love their children. They're doing all the services, they're doing all the work. But CPS workers, some reason, sometimes they take it personal. It's just something that they have against the parents. The CPS caseworker might not even like the parents. It's bad to say that, but I've seen it happen. Again, I'm no legal attorney, but I am a wise mother who have survived CPS and overcame CPS, and the judge ordered CPS to return my child back home where he belonged years ago. Okay. So I have seen them operate not out of the right heart posture. I've seen them operate out of being very petty, playing shenanigans and taking things personal and throwing their weight around. I've seen it happen time and time again, sadly. Yes, I sat in many courtrooms and just observed how these families are being treated, and also the dynamics of these families. A lot of the people that were in those courtrooms for CPS cases seem like minorities even. It seemed like, they really pray, not Pray. I have to always emphasize, not pray, because we need prayer, right? That's definitely needed. So I'm not talking about that kind of pray. I'm talking about the pray like Prey, where sometimes people, the wrong people, will pray over you and mistreat you if you're not careful, right? And it seemed like those families that was in those courtrooms back to back seemed to be minorities, and it was minorities like single parents. It was minorities like maybe people that lack resources, didn't have attorneys, didn't have representation. It was people that may have not been as highly educated, right? These seem to be the people they were really going afterwards. And let's listen to what KK Richardson. Thank you, KK, for tuning in. She made a comment saying, absolutely. And they don't even give you a chance to plead your case. You're just guilty from the very beginning. And they remove your children from your home, and you have to fight to get them back. Fight to get them back. You sure do, KK. And they make you jump through hoops and drain you mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. I tell you what, KK, that needs to be on a poster board somewhere, because that's the truth. And she also goes on to say, when you are portrayed as one thing and their perception of you is corrupted, You don't get a fair chance to prove allegations and harm is being done. But your children are separated from you and the communication is restricted or dismissed altogether. I understand. KK Richardson, you hit that correctly. I have seen that happen. Actually, I've been a victim to that as well. And as you say, prey, Prey, like a hunter or a predator in the jungle. KK, you have a way with your words. I wish you would come on the show and be a guest. It seems like you will definitely explain to all the people that watch and tune into this show so they can get a glimpse into what CPS is really like, because you'll be surprised people don't know that information. And KK, you explain it very well. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with the listening audience, because that was needed. That helps people to understand who CPS really can be. And you said it exactly right. You don't have to be it, what they say don't have to be right. And your kids can still be removed from their bedroom, their favorite toys, their snacks, their backyard where they like to go outside and play, their favorite outfit they like to wear. Your kids will become in somebody else's household. They will go move with strangers, with foster parents. And that's a whole nother topic. I'm not saying all foster parents are bad. I have met some really good foster parents, thank God. But guess what? There are some that are bad. And you don't choose who your kids are going to go stay with during that separation. It's whoever CPS picks for your kids to go live with. And again, there are some bad CPS. I'm sorry. There are some foster parents. They're maybe just only in it for a check. I've seen videos of kids living in, God forbid, places. Okay. So KK is absolutely correct. Like I tried to share earlier, it could be somebody just don't like you and they've called CPS and using CPS as a weapon against you. And, you might get a school that calls for you. You might get an ex. You might get a strange, angry, bad-hearted, bad-spirited, wicked, evil family member just might not like you. Could be even jealous of you. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? People do things just for evil, and they might use that as a weapon against you. And guess what? If that CPS caseworker who don't have integrity picks up the case and investigation, your life can literally enter into a world of hell because of it. Okay. And it's nothing easy you can get out of. It's easy to get into, but it's extremely difficult to get out of. And you really do, like KK mentioned, you have to fight to get out of it. And I don't think I can tell you is you better know God, because it was my faith in God that gave me the strength to keep going. I would love to Miss Jones, love to. Okay, KK, if you could please, our producer Grace, if you could please call in the show or leave your information, because I will ask Grace to please connect with you. I would love to bring you on the show. I really would. You really explain stuff so well. You make my job easy. Because you know what to say and you seem like you know what it's like. I don't know if you personally been through CPS or you know somebody, but I would love to share your experience. I know it helps so many people. I could tell by what you're saying that you know what you're talking about. So please call in and speak with the producer, Grace. I would love to lay some eyes on you and have you on the show to help our listening audience. Okay, because I do believe the more stories that are heard and shared, it helps people be aware of what's going on. We're getting ready to approach the summertime pretty soon. A lot of these CPS investigation cases happens during the summertime. You might be taking that kid to a over to a summer camp, or, visiting family and friends, or, you might be, during the summertime, people are out spending activities with their kids, going to travel and visit different people. Yes, please email Grace, our producer. She's amazing. She's awesome. And please do that, KK, because I would love to bring you on the show, because I know you could help so many different people be enlightened and to be mindful of CPS, even when you're going to your doctor's appointments, even when you're going to, even at the schools, at daycares. I know a family right now, I want to say their child was in daycare, when things at CPS came about. So they can arose anywhere. Like I say, they can come to your a school. A school can call CPS on you. You can the doctor's appointments, anything of that sort. It doesn't matter. CPS will come to your home. Okay, investigations. If they get that investigation call regarding you and your family, they will show up at your home. Oh yes, sir. Oh yes, ma'am. They will. And when I say business card, that's what I mean. They'll leave a business card for you to call them back. And please don't ignore that business call, because they're not going to go away. You're going to have to call them, and I prayerfully advise you, call your attorney first. Call attorney Vince first. Call some type of attorney that knows CPS laws, that knows how to be aggressive, and that will stand up for you and your children to make sure your home is not divided. And if they've already been taken away from you, please even more call that attorney so he can bring your children back home. Please call attorney Vince, because I have an old slogan. It says, bring these children back home where they belong. Okay, so I say that to say this. And speaking of that, again, KK, thank you so much for sharing that information. It's the truth, and it's needed. I try to warn people, it's not always what you think it is. Okay, it doesn't have to be a fact of why your kids were taken away from CPS. It does not have to be factual. If someone that's upset or angry at you and using CPS just as a weapon against you, it might be a lie, right? Somebody's just in their feelings, they're in their emotions, and they're doing whatever they can to try to destroy you, to hurt you, to harm you. And what better way to harm somebody than hurting their children? Okay. If you like me, if you messing with my kids, you're messing with me times 10. And that's a whole nother level. Your kids is your legacy. Children are the future. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole reason why we're trying to help them and prepare them for when they become adults, right? So, that's the children, they're the future. I don't know what else need to be said other than that. So it's very important that we are doing our job as a parent, even as family members, even, to make sure that we're here for our children. And a lot of times they can't help themselves. I've heard so many stories, I hate to say, that a lot of times these kids are being placed in these foster homes, and sometimes they're being alienated from their parents, even brainwashed. Even sometimes the kids don't even want to talk to their parents after they get with these other families. And sometimes you might not be able to visit the families, the foster families, even see your children. It's a lot that goes in stake with these guys. I cannot emphasize enough. Please learn from my mistakes. Years ago, I thought I could handle my CPS case. After realizing that I was in over my head, I was outside of my capacity, and I had to hire a wise legal attorney like attorney Vince to represent me. And I assure you, once God gave me the strength, once God gave me the resources, I hired an attorney. And that attorney, from the information that she received, the knowledge, the experience, her knowing CPS laws, it changed my case around in my favor. Once the attorney entered the scene, and you do not want to wait late till your case has been built up and say months later down the line, maybe I should hire an attorney. No, hire an attorney as quickly as possible. As soon as you receive that CPS investigation call, as soon as you see that CPS investigation card on your door, on your car window shield, wherever they leave it, make sure you call an attorney first, get their recommendation, and then let that attorney Vince, or whomever you hire, let them direct you on what to do. That's their job. That's what they have the experience in doing, and they know what to do. Okay. Long as an attorney like attorney Vince, and if he's not available, finding another attorney that has that knows CPS laws, that's willing to fight for you and be aggressive to get your children back home where they belong. Okay, so it's serious. Don't wait too late. If you've got that CPS investigation notification, please immediately call an attorney, because the sooner the better. Because sometimes if you wait too late to hire reliable representation, it could be too far gone. So call the attorneys as quickly and as swiftly and as possible. Okay. So also I want to come on to share with you. Like I said, I did receive a news story this weekend about a story of a lady that it's her cry and her plea for help. She's asking the community to come in and, listen to her story. Unfortunately, she has been a victim to CPS. CPS has removed her child. And I'm sorry, I was just so compelled by the story that I received this weekend. I wanted to share it on the show today because I think transparency really transforms, right? I think if you see in action these families that are dealing with CPS, that are going through this, is in real life time. This is a real life situation. This is a real life story. Someone that is dealing with CPS, her child has been taken away. And she is at this point in time, she's trying to figure out what is the best thing to do right now or where she's at. And she's pleading for help. And again, like I say, for me, I'm very visual. You can talk to me all day, I get it, but when I can actually see something, to me, it gives you a different set of eyes. So with that being said, Grace, if it's okay, if you can please share the video of the mom that's needing help with CPS that have removed her daughter.
Hey, TikTok. So I'm not sure what happened. I guess TikTok suspended my lives or whatever, and that's fine. But I wanted to thank my tribe for helping me locate my daughter. She's at Trinity Adoption Center and Foster Care Agency in Waco, Texas, which is approximately 3 hours away from where we actually live. Why would they send her that far if reunification is actually the goal? But I digress. I came on here because I need y'all help due to the fact that I have a protection order against me. I cannot see her or talk to her or anything like that. I need you all's help. Today, I got a call that Samira was assaulted by a male staff worker at this particular center. Apparently it was an issue with laundry or something of that nature. He was trying to pick it up, or I don't know what transpired, but I don't know why a man would be trying to get a little girl's laundry, because I was taught that a man was never supposed to wash a female's underwear, because, we got some pedophiles that like to smell people underwear and things of that nature. So it's not like it's new to anybody. But anyhow, he and my daughter got into a physical altercation where he pushed her into a closet. Now, why is a man in her room? I don't even understand. She's the only one in her room. She has a room by herself at this particular agency in Waco, Texas. But he pushed her in the closet. She ended up, I'm not sure the series of everything, but I was told that she kicked him in his private parts, that he took both of her hands and placed them on her face, and he struck her. Now, you help me understand how CPS can remove a child from an environment where there was no physical abuse at all. She was not mistreated or anything of that nature. So for those people who don't understand what was going on, I did not hurt my child. The documents were falsified, and I've been doing everything that I can within my power to go after these people who lied in their affidavits and whatnot. However, I need y'all help to protect my baby. It's not just my child. And then of course, the judge gave permission for my girl to get her hair done. My daughter's been getting her hair done since she was about 3.5 years old, going to get it professionally done at a salon. And so she doesn't really know how to comb her own hair. These ladies will not help her. They won't send her to the salon. So of course, you're damaging her self-esteem and her confidence, and you're attacking a 12-year-old child. And why? She's never been away from her mother, never has she ever not had access to her mom. And here it is, these people are doing all this stuff, and I don't even know what to do, but I need y'all help. My baby is at Trinity Foster Care and Adoption Agency in Waco, Texas. Y'all, I'm so upset about this. I just need help.
That just, oh my God. I think, again, action speaks louder than words, right? This is another parent that is dealing with CPS, that is dealing with something that is very extremely serious. with the wrong treatment that her child is receiving. I'm in agreement with that. I don't know any type of male that should be, first off, in her room dealing with her young daughter's personal, belongings as far as her undergarments. All that sounds suspicious. It sounds like some suspicious activity that's taking place. So, my God. So, can you imagine if you, and some people I know can, you might be already dealing with the same situation or even worse. I mean, I've heard stories that literally it's heartbreaking to know that their children are going through these type of dangerous situations. And like I say, this is your children that is in your home that has their own bedroom. You can only hear the music playing in the background, telling them to cut the music down, cut the TV down, clean your room up, or how was your day at school today? Are you hungry? The normal conversations normally between a parent and a child. And now you're receiving information. Your child is placed in a facility due to CPS. At her facility, like she said, they placed her daughter 3 hours away. And my question is, I live here in Texas as well. I know where Waco is located, and there are other facilities here within, our areas where you shouldn't have to place the child in such a distance location. I don't know the reason, obviously, behind that. But like I said, I have seen, again, the reason why I speak on integrity, okay, because a lot of times if your caseworker do not have integrity, sometimes to me, they play a game with CPS. They throw their power around. Maybe they're doing it sadly and secretly to teach you a lesson. I have heard families that share that say, I don't know why, but it seems like this is personal with my caseworker. I'm trying to talk to her. I'm trying to convey information she need, but it seemed like she's doing things out of spite. Like they're placing my child out in a farther distance where it's harder for me to see my child, or it's harder for me to communicate. They're not returning my phone calls when I'm emailing my caseworker, or she's not returning the phone calls of the foster parent that was once communicating with me. They're no longer saying anything. So now I can't even speak to my children. I'm telling you, CPS is not what you want. It's not. The earliest you can break this chain, okay? You can break this chain with CPS, and I recommend hiring a wise legal attorney like Attorney Vince. Now, I know, things are not cheap. Everything in this world is going up. I was just having that conversation yesterday. Inflation is real, okay? And it's affecting all of us. But if you're anything like me, some things are worth the sacrifice. And we all know that our children are worth the sacrifice. So no matter what the dollar sign may look like, sometimes if you have to take on a second job, I've heard some parents that saying they started a GoFundMe, whatever it takes to help you come up with the money to get your children out of this vicious, corrupt system of CPS. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It is not what you want. I've also heard other stories when kids finally make it out of the CPS system. Those children need a lot of counseling. They do, because they have been through it emotionally, mentally, physically. I mean, they have been through the fire, okay? And they have seen things that can affect them the rest of their lives. And I would highly recommend getting your children in counseling, okay? Because they probably have seen some things that they can't even put to words. So I thank God for clarity. I thank God now for this platform, for the Beautifully Bruised and CPS show. I thank God for Attorney Vince to have a heart to want to fight CPS to get these children back at home with their families. Thank you for Grace, the producer of the show. She helps us to bring on the footage. She helps us to bring on the guests to get the information out to you that you need to be better. All parents love their children. And if you have someone that is not a lovable parent, yes, I see the point of CPS. But if you have parents that love their children, might have just went through a bad time, a bad season, may need help, just give those parents the help that they need. Provide those resources that the government has. I know one family, I had someone that told me they had literally uprooted a family and took a child out of the household just because they couldn't pay their light bill. My God, please just help them with the financial resources to pay that light bill, okay? Don't take that baby out of that house and place them in God knows where. You don't even know if that family really likes children. You don't really know if that family really cares about taking care of children. In the world we living in today, it was scary back then when I went through my CPS encounter, and I just hate it cringes me to think about all the stories that's showing now, what people are dealing with so much. So I just assure you that do not wait. Do not sit on it. Do not take it for granted. If CPS have invaded your life, please reach out to Attorney Vince. You need a wise legal counsel who knows CPS laws, who knows how to be aggressive, and who's willing to do the work to fight for you and your children to be reunified back home together where you belong. Okay. If you are a family member and you know someone in your family that is a victim to CPS, if you have room for that child, please allow that child to stay with you. Statistics show a child is normally better off with their family or with a family member versus being placed in a foster home of a family that is totally unknown. And I have to share this because I do know someone personally that was once a child in CPS, and they're an adult now. But they say when they were placed in CPS, their foster home used to make them sleep under the bed, not on top of the bed, but they had to sleep under the bed, and they could never like be a child. Where most kids are out, playing basketball, sports, little girls out running, riding their bicycles, playing video games. They were constantly cleaning the house, constantly cleaning the house. It reminded me of that show, kind of like what is it, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, where who was that, where like she was never able to go out with everybody else and enjoy the events and the parties. She had to always be home mopping and cleaning the house. Huge home that was going to take like 20 years to clean. Okay. I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. But but I'm just saying, it's like she was a slave. They didn't allow. I've even heard a story where one family shared that in the foster home had a humongous backyard, but the children was not even allowed to go outside and play. So I'm telling you, we know in this world we live in today, everybody do not have the right heart posture. Unfortunately, everybody is not coming from the right place, and everybody does not have integrity. So again, please call Attorney Vince. And if you can't get Attorney Vince, if you have a CPS case or you know someone that does, please find a reputable attorney that knows CPS laws and willing to do the work so your children can be returned back home. Do not wait. Do not say, well, I'm going to call next week. I'm going to think about it. No, sir. No, ma'am. Time is of an essence. You want to move as quickly and as swiftly as possible, because I assure you, while you're thinking about it, CPS have already built their case file up with what your information. They've already gone through your information. They're already making phone calls regarding you, checking up on you, seeing who's who, maybe calling people that who might not even like you, and they're getting information from them to help to try to build your case. Trust me. And they do lawyer up. They do have CPS have lawyers. Let me assure you of that. So I'm telling you, this is a giant you do not want to take for granted. You do not want to barely move. You want to move as quickly as you possibly can by hiring Attorney Vince or a legal wise representation to help you doing a case like this. I do believe this can be the case of your life. Your children is in stake. And I pray for anyone whose children is in the system that you are, be able to communicate with your children, that you are able to go on your visits with your children. Keep doing the work. I've been there, done that, and I got a mug from it. Okay. A coffee mug or whatever you want to call it. Keep doing the work, because as long as you're doing the work, prayerfully you have wise legal counsel, and prayerfully you also have a caseworker that has integrity, that her intentions, once it's shown that you are the parent that deserves your children back, no matter how your case came about. We all know, like KK shared, one of the listening viewers shared, that sometimes you don't have it's nothing you've done wrong for CPS to enter in your life. Someone can just dislike you so much where they will bring in things in your life to try to damage you and your children's relationship. And to me, it don't get any dirtier than that. It don't get any evil or wicked than that. Because again, when CPS come into your life, I think it could take them 30 days or longer for them to close out their investigation. And just imagine if you don't have wise legal counsel to represent you. It can go on even longer. CPS can take your kids. And what I mean by that is, even here in the state of Texas, if you do not provide the information to show them that you are the parent, that God have allowed you to have this child, and you love your child, and you're taking care of your child, even with all that being said and done, if within a year or so here in Texas, if you don't provide the necessary documentation, after a year or so, CPS can automatically adopt out your kid. And that blew my mind when I heard that. I thought that was just I didn't think that was true. I didn't think that, I was honestly thinking, how in the world is this legal? Because like we say, life be lifing. I'll give you one prime example. I remember one time they wanted me just to sit and take just watch some parenting classes on a CPS old VHS video from back in the day. And I sat and I watched the classes amongst a group of other people. And you have to sign in once you arrive just to show proof, right, that you actually have taken the class. Okay. And I remember afterwards, some kind of bizarre reason, I know that this class is a part of the services that they want me to take, right? So I'm definitely going to make sure I sign the documentation that they tell you to sign, just to show that you're present, that you are in attendance. I signed that information, made sure I signed it. Matter of fact, I should have highlighted it because I know how important that information is. But I assure you, after that was all said and done, it came back saying I did not attend. And I'm like, okay, now wait a minute. This devil is a liar. Because I'm not saying that I know someone attended. I heard somebody that attended. I attended my own self. So I know for a fact that I was there. And this particular parenting class, I want to say it lasted, I don't know, maybe 2 hours or so. It was a lengthy time frame to watch some videotapes. So when I found out, they were saying, the caseworker came back saying, well, you didn't attend the class. So keep in mind, you have to attend these classes. This is a part of what they have for you to do to get your child back. So again, you're doing everything that you're doing what they're at, you're complying to what they're asking you to do, so you can, again, like, I don't have a problem with sitting watching a parental class. Do I think the class was needed? No, I didn't. Things I've learned years ago and already knew about, but still, I just, complied and watched the class, right? So even with that being said, after I finished the whole entire class, wasn't running late, was there before the class even started to the very end of the class. Matter of fact, they go around at the end of the class. I remember we had to sign as well, provided all signatures, but yet and still, my caseworker, it was showing that I did not attend the class. And I found that to be very strange. Those shenanigans were happening. So what I did, I physically went back up to the facility, and they was like, nope, well, we don't see the information. I asked to speak to a supervisor, and I want to see the sign-in log, that same sign-in log that I had previously signed, to validate they didn't have my signature. And it did take some time, but I did not care. I was willing to wait. And I'm going to name today's show, Monday Motivation Show, Patience. The importance of patience. Sometimes you have to just wait things out. Sometimes you got to play the game better than they play the game. I can tell you, at the end of years ago of my encounter with CPS, I've said this before, CPS attorney said you overcame. You overcame every single thing that was done to you in nearly a year of time. I weighed it out, okay? Sometimes you have to, I'm not going to say sometimes, you have to have patience. You have to have patience. Some things might not come immediately. Some things might not come when you expect them. But the beauty of it is, I've also shared this as well. God may not come when you want him. But guess what? He's always right on time. I've never seen that fail. Okay. God always shows up. And it might not be when you expect, but guess what? It'll still be right on time. So that's the beauty of knowing God. And it just came to me, and I wanted to share that with you. I really, going through my CPS encounter, I built my strength up and I built my spirit up, most importantly, in God. God gave me the strength to have patience, to learn how to, even things I've never done drugs in my life. I had to take all kinds of CPS tests at random different times, but guess what? I did it. I had to play the game. Sometimes when people are accusing you of something that you know you're not, sometimes you just have to play the game. But guess what? I got my child back. Okay? That was the more to my story. That was the goal to my story, is to get my child out of this broken, corrupt system. I didn't want my child to be another statistic. Okay? The devil is a liar. Sometimes you got to play the game to get what you want. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it to a certain degree, life is nothing but a game. You just got to know how to play it. You got to have the right components. You got to have the right characters, the right players around you also. Okay? Because if you're not careful, the devil will get up next to you. Okay? And try to harm you and destroy you. The devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Okay? So it's important to know how to play the game. And again, everything that CPS was accusing me of, I just played the game. I didn't have a problem with taking drug tests. Why? Because I've never done drugs in my life. That narrative didn't fit, even though they tried to make it seem that way, but it wasn't. Okay? I proved that by playing the game. Okay? And to finish what I was saying, when I went back up to that facility where I watched those old VHS parenting tests, they were saying that my casework was like, you didn't attend. I did. So I physically went back up there and I asked for a supervisor or someone that was over in that area who was over the sign-in sheets. And I wanted to see the sign-in log, because I know for a fact I signed that document. And as she said, well, it's going to take me some time. That's okay. Why? Because I have patience. That's where patience come into play. Go right ahead. I'll be out here waiting with no problem. I had something to take care of anyway, so they give me time to finish doing something I need to do. No problem at all. Okay. And so when she went back and got the documentation and went through the dialogue, all the sign-in sheets, guess what? My name was on there. My name was on there. And I had to verify with her to make sure she would notify my caseworker, the CPS social worker, caseworker, I'm sorry, that they made a mistake. And I validated that she verified that information. And I followed up with my caseworker, and she did come back and say, oh, yes, I do see that you were there. You see what I'm saying? That's the importance of having patience. If I was in a hurry, didn't have time, became irate or, argumentative, it could have went to a whole nother situation. But thanks be to God, I have patience. And I was willing to sit there and I was willing to wait for her to verify that documentation. And guess what? I found the evidence that showed that I was there. Okay. So I'm telling you, dealing with CPS, it takes you through all kinds of stuff. And so I assure you, you're going to want to know God. I cannot say that enough. Whether you have a CPS case or not, you still want to know God for yourself, okay? And the world we're living in this day and time, there is so much going on. It just seems like trouble is on every side. There's wars breaking out all over. It's just inflation. If it's not one thing, it's another. You want to know God, period. Okay, regarding that. And along with that, when you know God, God will give you a peace that passes all understandings. He will give you a patience. He gives you patience. He teaches you these things. Like they say, daily, you need to put on the full armor of this battlefield. I see CPS as a war zone. I did, because they was coming at you with all kind of ammunition and different kind of ways. It was like, honestly, I my own personal experience of going through it. Yes, I seen it as a war zone. And that's why it's important that you have an attorney, or you have someone, what they have in wars. You have the sergeant, you have people in higher rankings and higher position that can kind of direct you on your plays. It's the same thing with CPS. It's the same thing. But as you're going through your war zone with CPS, you need an attorney that's going to help you to guide you and direct your plays. Why? Because they know CPS laws. And I've always said, when people know what you know, they move differently. Okay? They do. I've seen it. They can't come at you any kind of way. When CPS realized I had a wise legal attorney, my attorney was talking for me. They no longer could even communicate with me. They could only go through my attorney. She would speak. When something needed to be said, they had to go to her. They couldn't even come to me. Okay? And she knew CPS laws very much so, trust and believe. And they knew she knew it. So they move different. Have you ever noticed in your own life that when you know what somebody else know, they can't just come at you any kind of way. They can't just tell you any old thing, because you know the truth. Okay? And the truth shall set you free. Okay? So again, knowledge is power. When you have a wise legal attorney like Attorney Vince, they can't come at you any kind of way anymore. They can't just call you and just do anything in any old kind of way, because you have a wise legal counsel that's representing you that knows CPS laws. I assure you they're going to move different. They're even going to approach and handle you differently. When my attorney won my CPS case, it seemed like CPS would try to come on my side all of a sudden. They were now once talking to me about things that they never was talking to me about before. They completely, totally changed even how they began to start acting nice, but whatever, it's like they was almost in agreement even. I'm telling you, it's the game. And a way to win the game is to hire a wise legal counsel like Attorney Vince. Okay, get you an Attorney Vince on your team. And if you can't get Attorney Vince, find someone that knows those CPS laws, so you can win this game and get your children back home where they belong. Okay. And remember patience today. Life be lifing. Okay. People will come at you with all sorts of things. A lot of times they come at you just to try to get you to become distracted, to throw you off, to bring something to you, to make you upset, to make you angry. Okay. That's how the devil plays. The devil doesn't play fair. Anything the devil can do to get your mind, your heart posture in the wrong place, to make you feel discouraged, to make you feel sad, to make you feel depressed, the devil will do that. That's why you have to put on the full armor of God. It's our daily ammunition. It's our daily weapon. Pray in the morning. When I get up, I pray every morning. I talk to God in the morning. I talk to God even about this show. What do you want me to say? What needs to be heard? Cut me off and cut you on. I call God Daddy, Jesus. Name of my organization is Daddy Lights Ministry. Daddy stands for Jesus. And I want to be a light in a dark world. That's ministry. I see this as ministry. Sometimes just knowing what to say at the right time can make a difference in someone's life. You don't know what people are going through. I was speaking to my Uber driver yesterday, and she shared that driving Uber she gets so many people that's in her car that are going through all kind of stuff in this world. And even though they're smiling on the outside, but when she started talking to them, they released stuff to her that she said she sometimes have to take a break. And I say that to say this: just because someone is smiling on the outside does not mean that they're smiling on the inside. People are just trying to cope. They're trying to get through life the best way they can. And that's why I love and I'm thankful for this platform, the Beautifully Bruised and CPS show, even being on Attorney Vince on his platform. If you know somebody that is going through CPS, if it's not yourself or you know someone that else, why don't you share this video with them? Why don't you please like, subscribe? By you doing that, that helps us to reach more people that are dealing with CPS who don't know that there's help. They need to know that they're not alone. There is people out here like us that care about what they're going through, that want to help them get their children back home where they belong. Okay, so please like, share, subscribe these videos. You don't know, it can bring encouragement to someone that is down, that don't know what else to do, might even want to give up. You never know what people are really going through. Just because they're smiling on the outside does not mean they're smiling on the inside. This life really be lifing, okay? That's why it's so important to know God. That's why it's so important to know God. In the world we're living in today, with so much demonic warfare, it's on every corner. I can't afford not to pray. I don't know about you, but I cannot afford not to pray. I cannot afford not to talk to God. I can't fight this battle by myself. God will give you that strength to fight. God will give you that peace. He will give you that wisdom. He'll give you that knowledge that you need. He'll give you that discernment that you need. See, you can see things in the spiritual that you can't see in the physical. Okay? And I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I live. If God hadn't intervened and revealed things to me right in the nick of time, I probably wouldn't be sitting in front of you today. God is faithful. God cares. God is all knowing. And the reason why I speak on patience, CPS took me through, listen, to and fro. Even my attorneys say they are really, really taking you through it. But there must be a God. Listen, even my attorney said it. There must be a God that's hearing your prayers. Because as she's going through everything that CPS was trying to do to me, as she was looking at discoveries and creating discoveries and all the things that attorneys do, she said literally every single thing that they're trying to hold against you, nothing is working. Nothing is working. See, that's the kind of God I serve. Now, the word doesn't say that the weapons won't form. Okay? God just says that the weapons won't prosper. Yes, weapons may form in the daytime, even in nighttime. They can form in the middle of the daytime. But guess what? If you got God on your side, if you are a believer, see, they won't prosper. And I see that as I seen CPS. They was trying to create their narratives. They was doing all kind of stuff. But guess what? At the end of the day, every single thing that they tried to do to me, they didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't prosper. The judge ordered them. Once I had wise legal counsel, once I did the work, once I made sacrifices, once I was all in, at the end of the day, that judge ordered CPS to return my child back home where he belonged years ago. And all I knew to do is to go out and worship and thank God. Because once again, he has proven to me that he is tried and true, and he is consistent, and he is faithful. I assure you that. Okay. So again, as I get ready to end the show, don't let nobody steal your joy. I don't care who it is. I don't care what it looks like, whether you have a CPS case or not. Don't let nobody steal your joy today. Keep your focus on God. Okay? Have that patience. Take that deep breath that's needed. If you're dealing with a grunt co-worker, a family member, a friend, a relationship, take that deep breath and try it again. Okay? And I'm telling you something that I'm also doing for my own self. People can take you there and it's easy to snap back and go there. But some people are not even worth your time, your energy of making you upset. That stuff not even good for your health. Don't give them a reason to give you high blood pressure. It's not even worth it. Take your deep breath, take your walk, pace yourself. You know, again, don't let people take you there. Have patience. First and foremost, I'm going to tell you to pray. Pray about it. Talk to God about it. Whatever it is. Don't nobody know like you do. Take it to God. Okay. Take your deep breath, gain your patience. Okay. Whatever you do, if you have a CPS case, don't you ever stop fighting for your babies. I don't care what it looks like, because guess what? They want you to give up, because if you give up, they make it easier for them to adopt your kids out. Okay? Don't give up. Even if you're tired and you want to quit, like my grandmother Rosalie Jones would tell me, you might give out, but don't never give up. Take your break, take your woosah, but get right back in the game. Because this is about your kids. Okay? This is about bringing your babies back home where they belong. So, again, like I said, take it to God, pray about it, talk to God, take your deep breath. Okay? Get some patience in there, get some balance. Call Attorney Vince if you haven't already. Get that wise legal counsel, or if you're dealing with a CPS case. And if you can't get Attorney Vince, make sure you reach out to some type of attorney that knows CPS laws, that's aggressive, that knows how to fight CPS, and is willing to do the work to get your children back home where they belong. Okay? And start all over again and talk to God again when you're done. Okay? Keep talking to God. Don't let it be the first and only thing you do. Do it throughout the day. I talk to God in my car. I talk to God at home. I talk to God when I'm out in the store. My grandmother used to always tell me, it's okay to talk to yourself, but just don't answer yourself. And I will leave it at that. So with that being said, on a serious note, please don't ever give up fighting for your children. I don't care what you're going through. Just know that God still has the final say so. Please do not put a period where there should be a comma, because God is not through writing your story. Sometimes God may be wanting to see if he can test you to go through the fire, because he already knows what it needs to bring you out of it. And I'm a living testimony of that. And he might not come when you want him, but guess what? He still be right on time. My child was returned home years ago. Okay? So it's not over yet. Keep fighting for your kids. Don't never stop fighting for your kids. Keep praying. Keep talking to God. Have patience today. Okay? Have patience. It's going to help you more than it will hinder you. Trust me. Have patience. This is your Monday motivation. Keep God first. We have some more great stories we're going to be sharing with you. Stay encouraged. You're not in this by yourself. Like, share, and subscribe. KK, I'm going to ask Grace that you call in, because we want to bring you on our show. Okay. Thank you for sharing your information. Have a blessed day until our next show.